Hello, welcome. We're here at BioFuture. I'm Simone Fishburn, Editor-in-Chief at BioCentury, and I'm here with Dawn Bell, who is Global Development Head of Partnering at Novartis, if I've got that right.
Yes.
And you just ran a panel today, a very interesting panel on founder-led biotechs. So it's probably an area you know a huge amount about, but just tell me at the top, what are you seeing? What is most exciting to you among founder-led biotechs?
Well, it may be strange that someone from Novartis would chair a panel on founder-led biotechs. Novartis hasn't been founder-led for probably 400 years, but I'm a bit of a startup junkie. I became involved in the startup ecosystem in Canada while I was Chief Scientific Officer for Novartis Canada, and I'm just inspired by entrepreneurship. So the idea that someone would have the audacity to just think that they could start their own company, advance an area of science, bring a new medicine to the world, I just find extraordinary. And I think what excites me most about the coming wave of entrepreneurs in biotech is that they're young, they're collaborative, and they come from all walks of life, I should say. Some of them are industry veterans, but they're collaborative, and they really are forming their companies with a sense that they want to change the world, they want to solve a significant problem that they feel uniquely positioned to solve.
I think that's really interesting. We covered a lot of that in our recent Back to School, looking at this generation. They're very mission-driven is one of the words that kept coming up. And I think people in biotech tend to sit and they go, well, we have a mission. Of course we have a mission, a social impact. But one of the things that we found is that it's not just patients, it's an impact on the environment, it's an impact on social justice, it's sort of running companies that do good and do it well and do the right thing. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, one of the interesting things, and I think this is why founder-led biotech sometimes rankle traditional biopharma people like me, old people like me, is that they really are interested in disrupting this industry, which has a lot of challenges, right, in terms of success for drug development. And I tend to sometimes get defensive about that and think, well, you just don't understand how this works, right? But what we need are people who really question how it works, because they're the only ones who are going to come up with the innovative ideas to really make this industry more efficient and bring more medicines to patients.
And let's not forget, the founders of the industry also didn't have like decades of experience, right? There wasn't like, it's not like they made it perfect. So every generation, I think, has, had its own disruption. But I'm not gonna let you get away without us talking about women and founders, because we did find at BioCentury, as you know, over 400 biotech CEOs who were female, and a very large proportion of them were founder-led companies. And I looked at that and I'm like, women are just deciding, hey, if you're not going to appoint me, I'm just going to start my own company.
I think you're right.
So are you seeing that?
Yes, in fact, it was interesting. Our panel was actually, of the operators on the panel, they were all women. We had one investor who was a friend of mine who asked to be on the panel, was a man, but all extraordinary founders, CEOs, COOs, industry experience, postdocs, who are spending their science out of their lab. And I think that this sense of frustration of I'm the person to solve this, and I'm not going to wait. Like you said, also in the Back to School edition, like people don't really want to wait to move up through the ranks or get appointed. They're just making it happen for themselves.
Let me get one more question in here. There's a bunch of small biotechs out there, founder-led ones. They would love to get on the radar of Novartis and the peer farmers. So what are they supposed to do? How do they get on your radar?
Well, first of all, I think one thing that almost nearly every startup company that I work with, a big mistake they make is they think we're all the same. They don't really do their homework and find out strategic imperatives of those companies, what's important. It's all in the public domain. All these companies are publicly traded. You can go to R&D Day on their websites. You can find out what they're interested in.
You can look them up in BioCentury.
You can look them up in BioCentury. And you really need to make sure your problem is solving something that they're interested in solving. So that's the first thing. The other thing is you need a warm introduction. You're not going to get very far cold calling these companies. Just the nature of the beast. There's too much incoming. You need someone who can sort of vouch for you, put you in front of the right people. Even myself, who's been at Novartis for 10 years, I sometimes have to ask around who's the right person to evaluate this technology or make this decision. So find a warm introduction, make sure you have a strategic, you're aligned with the strategic imperatives of that company.
So at the end of the day, some things stay the same. Network, network, network.
Always.
Thank you.